Most apartment owners walk into their annual insurance renewal with none of the four things that you need to actually guarantee that you have the best possible renewal experience. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because probably no one has ever told you exactly what you need to make sure that the entire deck is stacked in your favor. In this video, I'm going to go through the four-step process that is a linear 1, 2, 3, 4 to get you exactly what you want from your insurance renewal. Hey folks, I'm James Jenkins, the founder and CEO of RiskWell. This video is created in collaboration with the Apartment Association of Greater Dallas. And in the hundreds of renewals that we've been through at RiskWell, with over 100,000 residential units insured in the last 7 years, there's a consistent pattern of the folks that have great outcomes from the folks who are simply passive observers and the renewal happens to them. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Your insurance broker comes to you with renewal, maybe 30 days out, maybe 45 if you're lucky, and they have the same old song and dance. Hey, here's your renewal. Your premiums have gone up 8%, maybe 12, maybe 20, who knows? They have the same old excuses. Oh, there's not that many companies writing, your building's older, there's a lot of hail activity in the Dallas area, et cetera, et cetera. Now, here's the problem. This renewal process didn't happen this way because your insurance broker is bad at their job. It happened the way that it happened because most apartment owners are passive observers, and the entire system is designed to maintain the status quo for the insurance carrier and for the agent and make sure that you just pay your premium and be a good little customer. If you want better, there's a better way. Let's get into it. These four pillars are additive. You start with the first one, and then second, and then third, and then fourth. If you skip one, it's not going to go how you want it to. The first pillar is competition, and not the kind of competition you're thinking about. Because typically when you say competition in an insurance renewal, what you're thinking of is having 2, 3, 4, 5 brokers or agents going out to the market, shopping and doing their thing, and then coming back to you and delivering quotes that you then look over, probably pick the cheapest one that checks the boxes that you know need to be checked, and you carry on. That's actually a fool's errand, and here's why. Agents don't set the prices. Brokers don't set the terms and deductibles. They don't get the credits and debits figured out in the way that is most advantageous for you. You need to have competition between underwriters, not agents. The only way to make that happen is to have one chosen representative who is responsible for telling your story, for crafting your narrative. If you don't have competition between underwriters where they feel pressure to compete amongst themselves to win your business, then the rest of the conversation doesn't even need to be had. The second pillar comes right after competition, and that is positioning. That is the narrative. That is the telling of the story of your property. 123 Main Street, 300 unit property built in '84. Here's what we do well. Here's our management. Here's all of our safety programs. Here's our loss controls. Here's our perfectly maintained property. Yeah, it's a little older. Maybe it is or isn't. Maybe it's a beautiful Class A property that has absolutely nothing wrong with it. Everything's brand new. Everything's perfect. The reality is, in the Dallas market, there's a lot of B and C properties that need to have demonstrated track record of attentive and proactive maintenance. That positioning is best done by a single representative who can work with you to have an executive summary built to make sure that the right underwriters see the right information so that the positioning of your property is guaranteeing maximum positive momentum. The third piece of the puzzle is control. What happens when you don't have control, when you give up control by not managing the process and starting early enough in the process to make sure that you stay in charge of the timeline? You don't have control. What it looks like is your agent putting together a sloppy submission that's missing pieces. Maybe it doesn't have updated property values. Maybe it's missing a good, thoughtful executive summary. Maybe it's missing details about your loss control practices, your quality management, the way that you screen your tenants. When you're in a rush, when you don't have control of the timeline, quality suffers across the board. Now flip the coin over. What does control look like when you are deploying it effectively and intentionally? It means you get a submission to an underwriter 90 days out, maybe even 120 days out, depending on how large and complex your property or your portfolio of multiple properties. The bigger and more complex, the more lead time you need, because underwriters love to have time to ask additional questions and talk to their carriers and figure out exactly what the best way is to package your quote, your submission. When the underwriters have time to be thoughtful and intentional, when your broker has time to go to market and create what we've already talked about with the competition and the positioning, you get to have control. And control means you get the benefit of having options and being able to dictate what happens. Because the fourth piece of the puzzle can only happen if you have successfully created control in the marketplace. The fourth and final puzzle piece in this conversation is leverage. And leverage is a beautiful thing because it means you get to flip the script and hold all of the power in your insurance renewal. When you have multiple agents going out in the marketplace and creating chaos and going after the same underwriters and asking for quotes, demonstrating to the marketplace that you don't have a single representative who is telling your story, that no one is able to negotiate on your behalf because you have gone out to God knows how many agents and solicited how many quotes, all of your leverage is gone. In that situation, in the normal situation, the carrier and the underwriter has all of the leverage because they know that you don't have any leverage because you don't have the competition, you don't have the positioning, you don't have control of the marketplace, and so you don't have any leverage. What does leverage look like? It looks like underwriters realizing that they have to give you their very best or else they're not going to win. It means carriers understanding that you have more than one option at your disposal because your broker has done a great job of analyzing the marketplace and being a good steward of your account. What does this leverage look like? It looks like better pricing for this year, more stable pricing over multiple years. It looks like having the terms and pricing for everything that you want for all the sublimits. It means having all the right coverage options that you want because your broker can force the carriers to give concessions. Sometimes the concession is on price. Sometimes the concession is on coverage. Sometimes the concession is removing an exclusion that you don't want on there. When you have leverage, beautiful things can happen. So in conclusion, here's what happens when you have all four: competition, positioning, control, and leverage. You're no longer waiting for an insurance renewal to happen. You are engineering your desired outcome. Competition among underwriters gives you options. Positioning gives you better options. Control gives you confidence about the options that you have in front of you. And leverage means that you get to determine the best possible outcome from the available options. That is not being a passive observer and waiting for your renewal to happen. That is a system that guarantees you the best possible insurance renewal. And also the least amount of chaos and insanity because you're not having to deal with 5 different insurance brokers clamoring for your business, begging like children who want a cookie from the cabinet in the kitchen. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a better way to do business. If there's anything that my office can help you with, we are eager to assist in whatever ways you would find useful. Our phone number here is 469-678-8001. Thank you again for watching and make it a great day. Remember, life is risky. Risk well.